Hey everyone, my name is Kelly Matthews, and this is the first time that I am ever completing a project like this, so please bear with me as I'm a little bit technologically challenged. Anyway, I'm excited to tell you a little bit about myself, and I am looking forward to reviewing your submissions as well. So I'm excited to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a board certified behavior analyst, also known as a BCBA. I currently live in Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C., and I work full time at a private day school for children and adolescents with special needs. I'm a program coordinator in the autism program at the school. A little bit more about me. I grew up in Connecticut and I graduated from the University of Connecticut in 2007, where I got my Bachelor of Science in Animal Science, and I also studied equine science there. After graduating, I moved to Texas and I attended Texas A&M. There, I completed a teacher certification program and my master's in education with an emphasis in agriculture education. After I graduated grad school, I started working as a special education teacher in the public school system just outside of Houston. And when I was working in the public schools, I kind of had my first experiences with children on the autism spectrum. And I realized that working with kids on the spectrum was kind of my true passion. And after about 2 years of teaching, I decided to move to a clinic type setting and pursue my board certification to become a behavior analyst and work with kids in a little bit more specialized of a setting. So, a little bit about my interests. I love being outside, I love spending time at the beach. I'm a big hiker. I've been riding horses my entire life, and I love taking photographs. So, at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you'll see some of the pictures that I took on some of my adventures. A really cool bird picture from the beach, and at the very bottom right, you'll see a wild stallion that I actually encountered when I was hiking Mount Rogers in Virginia. I also have three cats who have very creative names: Small Cat, Widget, and Catnip Everdeen. And I have two dogs: a Rhodesian Ridgeback named Runako, we call him Roo, and Gizmo, who is a French Bulldog Boston Terrier cross and pretty much the cutest dog in the entire world. So I guess the big question is, why is a special ed teacher from Maryland taking a class about Native cultures in Alaska? Well, we have decided to relocate to Alaska at the end of this year because some very exciting things are happening in Alaska. As far as what I do for a career, Medicaid just passed coverage, and applied behavior analysis therapy is going to be widely available to families in need. So, all of those families who access healthcare through the Medicaid system in Alaska are now going to be able to get access to behavior therapy for their children on the autism spectrum. So, that's really, really exciting. And there is a high need right now for BCBAs to come to Alaska. I am also taking this course because I have a temporary teaching certificate in Alaska. So I was able to transfer my science, my agriculture science and technology, and my special ed certifications up there. And this is one of the courses that's required to extend that certification after the first 2 years. And most importantly, I'm taking this course because as a BCBA, I do a lot of work in people's homes. And I do a lot of work with parents and caretakers in particular. And, I spend a lot of time with families in a very close environment. So I want to kind of expand my knowledge base and become really culturally sensitive to, what I'm going to be walking into when I come to Alaska. And I want to be able to learn all that I can so that I can best serve the families, that I'll be working with in the future. So this is the first anthropology course that I have ever taken, and that makes the field very new to me, and makes my knowledge and understanding very limited. Basically to what I've read and learned so far, just in the lectures and in the articles that the course gave us to read so far. So my opinion is likely going to change and continue to develop as I learn more about the field and its history, um, especially with relation to the native populations in Alaska. So, given my very limited knowledge base on the subject, I wanted to share some of my first impressions after reading the Clifford article. It seems like there must be a really delicate balance between studying and learning and respecting boundaries that are set by the populations that an anthropologist would go in to study or learn about. And I believe that, that population's history or exposure to another population would play a role, and in fact, a really important role in their openness and willingness to accept an outsider to come in and try to learn about their culture. So one of the really important things that the Clifford article pointed out was that an anthropologist must create and foster a relationship of respect and trust when they go into a community. And when they've established those relationships and they've built that trust, that's the best way that they can accomplish their goals to successfully learn and document and tell the story of the culture that they are going into. And I think that the mission that they have is really important. I think that it's really important to go in and to tell a story and to build respect and, to build on those relationships so that the communities that they're going into understand why they are there and why it's important that they are there. So the article also does a really great job of explaining some of the challenges that an anthropologist might experience coming into a Native community. Um, they talk a lot about history and the role that it would play given experiences that Native cultures and populations have had with outsiders, and specifically outsiders coming into their communities. I think that perception is reality. So, things that have happened in history and over time are really important and, would play a role in whether a Native population would want an anthropologist there, and, would completely buy into that mission of, why they were there regardless of their actual intentions for being there. So just to kind of summarize, I think that anthropology should play a role in Native cultures in Alaska. I think that preservation of history and culture and the stories of these cultures is really important. And I think that dissemination of that information so that people can learn from history and can understand where these cultures came from and where they're headed as they continue to grow and change. I think all of that is really important. I'm just not sure that at this point in my studies I can really make an educated decision on how big of a role anthropology should play, or how intrusive a role that they should play with regard to Native cultures in Alaska. So thanks for watching and listening, and I look forward to checking out everyone's submissions and learning a little bit about everybody. And I'm also looking forward to a fun-filled semester and learning all I can before my big move in December. Thanks, everyone.